80% of people fail when joining the gym. Here are 3 simple steps to not be that person. Hey guys, Coach Dan here. I am a degree holder in exercise and sports science. I am a PT and coach for over 10 years, and I'm a gym resident pretty much for 20 plus years, and I've learned some things in those 20 years. And one of the main things that I've learned is that 80% of people, even 90% of people who join gyms are not successful in their fitness and health outcomes. Even there are 80 to 90% of people who don't show up to the gym regularly. So with that in mind, before we start talking about programming or sets or what exercises to do, we first need to talk about how do we get people to be consistent and regular and make this a part of their lives. And I have 3 steps to help you get there if you've been that person or you know someone who is that person or you are just starting out. So when everyone joins the gym, they usually do 2 things, or they usually have 2 things. They have a goal and they have motivation. Now the goal might be something like lose 10 kgs. The motivator for that might be because they feel really bad and they're uncomfortable within their own selves. That's where people usually leave it. Now there are issues with that, and some of those issues is that motivation is not always there for us. When it's a new year, which it currently is pretty close to the new year now, when it's a new week, we have motivations. But eventually those motivations can be drowned out by life, stress, work, family, all these kinds of things. So we need to take these next 3 steps to actually achieve these goals. So we've got the goal. We've got the motivator. Everyone usually has that. And then the next steps, not everyone takes the time to learn and do. So step number 1 is identifying the behaviors that you need in order to achieve your goal. So in the future, I'll do a full video on this, but essentially you would say, okay, so for that person with the 10 kilo weight loss goal, you would identify the behaviors that person, someone who's successful at that would do. So that could be something like, well, someone who loses 10 kilos walks a certain amount of time per day or walks a certain amount of steps per day, or they go to the gym X amount of times per day. So we identify those behaviors. Then once we have those behaviors, we move on to step 2. We form habits surrounding those behaviors. So it's not enough just to grit your way through it and just do these things. We also have to make them a part of our regular lives, our day-to-day activity, and we can almost put them on automatic if we make them a habit. So again, for the person who is wanting to do 10,000 steps per day, they would habituate or set time and just regularly do that habit, performing that walk every single day. Now, eventually this will become a habit, and I like to use the metaphor for habits. It's like you're building a rope, and you're building the rope 1 thread at a time. Every time you add a thread, you make a thicker and thicker rope. And when that rope is thick enough, it's unbreakable. So we've identified the behaviors. We've now started to form habits around those behaviors. Now we have to start to build an identity. So the habits will aid in this, but essentially the habit that you are trying to do, or the person that you're trying to become, let's say it's a gym goer, we need to start to identify as that gym goer. So we go to the gym enough, and once we have gone to the gym enough, we become a gym goer. So you would start off I'm going to the gym 3 days per week. Then you would end up with the identity that I am a gym goer. And once you're a gym goer, it's not hard work anymore. That is a part of your life, and it's really hard not to be that person. So we start off, we set a goal. Everyone's got the motivator and the goal, but what people don't do is they don't take these next 3 steps. Number 1, identify the behaviors. Number 2, set habits around those behaviors. Step 3, become the person you want to be. Become the gym goer, become the runner, whatever it is your thing that you're trying to become, you identify as that person. So those are the 3 steps. If you work your way through those 3 steps, you're going to put yourself outside of that bracket of 80% of people who will fail when joining the gym. So set yourself aside from those 80% of people and do these 3 steps. In the next videos, I'm going to take you through these 3 steps individually so we know how to do each one in full detail. Remember, it's all about progress over perfection. Coach Dan, signing off.